I don't know if I'm live or not, but I think I should be in a few seconds. Stream is offline. Okay. Okay. Am I live or not? I should be live. OBS is telling me I'm streaming. So it's telling me I'm streaming, so I should be live. Oh, I think I'm back. I think I'm back. I don't know, my internet just decided to disconnect. But the good news is that internet crashed, but our event manager didn't crash, which is a very good news. It did not crash, you see, event manager push. So it seems that with our event manager properly connected as a uProperty to our game state, sorry, to our game mode, this is kind of running. This thing is kind of running. So now I think I need to go back to what this thing was doing, because I have no idea what it was doing. Because I butchered a bit. Oh, no, I'm dead again. My internet is going up and down. My internet is going up and down, boys. I don't know if we can do it. I don't know. But we will gain their favor again. Okay, don't worry. We will have a way. We will find a way. We will find a way, and my internet will stay up. Okay. So what we are doing, hello Tua. What we are doing, we are trying to have the event manager working. The event manager is a pretty core functionality of the old PlanShift. I have to say that the whole PlanShift code, the old PlanShift code, okay, apart from the fact that the gods are against us, which you can delete, maybe they are not anymore. The old PlanShift code was based on a guy that was named on a class that was called Event Manager. Oh my god, this is so big and so red. Wait. Okay. So it was based on a class that was called Event Manager, where basically any other class, any other manager was pushing events into, right? And it was pushing events saying, for example, combat was pushing the attacks. So I was saying to the event manager, hey, event manager, you have a new attack that is going to happen in 2 seconds from now. And this event is going to do 100 damage to that particular monster, right? And then there was another event manager, manager, which was, for example, the NPC dialogue, which was saying, hello, event manager, in 1 second, this NPC is gonna bow or is gonna greet the player, right? And there were other events like, I don't know, the weather system, right? So the rain is going to finish in 20 minutes, right? So all those events were timed events. So the event manager basically had something simple like a timer, like 2000 milliseconds. Which kind of event is gonna happen? So like event 1, 2, 3, and then event 1, 2, 3 inside of this event, at a trigger. Inside of this there was a function called trigger, which was basically getting fired after the 2000 milliseconds. For example, stop the rain, or do this attack, or do something else, or resurrect. So also the spawn manager has a lot of events. So spawn manager, for example, is handling resurrection of NPCs, or resurrection of players, or spawning of new tribe members. So everything is based on event manager and time, right? So we need it, desperately need it. Now, the way it was in the old Planship, it cannot be exactly like it is in Unreal. So it has to be changed, right? But I already changed it somehow, and I was just looking now at having it work properly. The good news is that I did a very big step forward tonight in the last 10 minutes, 20 minutes, which is our event manager is not getting destroyed anymore, and our events now seems to go through properly. Now, would be very nice if we could restore the old code in this part. Let me just check, because as I said, I changed this code a bit when I was doing tests to avoid a crash, and so I was like modifying the code and doing some stuff. So let me just check the old code. The old code is saying this. So the old code was very simple. It was this line and this line. Okay, so I can put this line back. This one was just my example when I was keeping it very simple. And then there was this queued, which was just creating the new event, and I was putting the item into it though. Can I put the item here? I know I was doing this. I was putting as a schedule, and then I was pushing the new event. So this was basically it. This was basically it. Now, what the event manager then has to do, which I commented out as well. I commented out a bunch of other code, which is all of this, which I already ported to Unreal the last time. So it was event manager process queue. Let me check that this thing is correct though, because like this 5F, what is it? I think it's my time, right? Time handler, timer delegate. In rate, wait a second. Timer delegate, float in rate, bool in loop. Okay, if he's looping or not looping. Okay. I don't remember because I did it some time ago, but this one basically is a dynamic function, so which is taking my timer delegate and is trying to launch my process event queue, passing on the event that I have. I just don't understand what is this 5.f. I don't understand what is this. Is it the time? Because the time actually should be so process event queue, process event queue, process event queue. Let me see if I can find entity manager in the old code. No, because I think I closed it. It's under utils. I don't remember what it is. I think it was under utils for some weird reason. Event manager, there it is. So event manager at this process event queue. Okay, process event queue, which I changed it to take an event. Okay, perfect. I think if this happens, it's already a success. Let me see. Let's put just a printout here and say process event queue. What do I want to know about this event? About this event, I don't know exactly what I have as a name. Sorry, because I think event is unfortunately is a kind of a keyword, and so I cannot use it as it is. Let me just change it all to in event. Which I prefer because it seems that it doesn't like it. Um, is it printing something? No, this one is not printing anything. So what can I do? I can have an in event to string. Oh, that's pretty good. Let's do an in event to string. So we see what is it. Okay. We do a percentage s, and I don't know if this to string is returning an f string, so we just dereference it like this. And yes, I think we can run it like this now. Personally, I think that we don't need any of this anymore, because this is actually something that we were using before, but we don't have a queue anymore. I mean, we just rely on Unreal Engine to execute all the events at the proper time, and we don't care anymore about this. We don't care anymore about this. So unless we want to still care about this and put it in a queue, because here what we were doing the old plan shift, we were putting all the events in a queue, in an order queue, sorting them by time, and then when the time was the right time, we were starting to execute the events. But I don't think that this has any meaning anymore in Unreal, because we rely on Unreal to do all this job for us, right? So let me just check if this set timer, I mean, what is this set timer exactly? Is the in rate our actual time to execute the event, or not? This is what I would like to understand. I think it is, huh? But just to be sure. So Unreal Engine timer, set timer, set timer function. So in rate, exceptional documentation. Why don't tell me what in rate is, even if I think I already know what it is. But set timer, float in rate. What the hell is this in rate? Well, I could also check the code. I could also check. We could also look at the Unreal Engine code. Set internal timer, in rate. We can check what it's doing with this variable, right? In rate. If in rate is greater than 0, then validate the enter timer data, new timer data, set internal timer. Okay, in rate, new timer data, rate. I think it's the rate. I mean, it's called rate because you can probably loop it, and so it's the rate at which it loops, right? But if loop is false, then it triggers only once. But I think that rate is actually our milliseconds, right? Is our I don't know if it's in seconds or in milliseconds. I think it's milliseconds. Yes, here it is. Rate, time between set and fire, or repeat frequency if looping. Okay, it doesn't tell me if it's milliseconds or what, but I assume it's milliseconds, because I want to be able to fire very quick. Hello, Soup. Welcome. There is another Unreal Friday. Unreal Friday. Yeah, so I think that is our timing. So if this is our timing, actually, if it is our timing, actually, we could just do event schedule. I mean, this one becomes event, or sorry, we call it in event. or we call it event here as well. Okay, I don't know. Event schedule. No, wasn't it schedule? What it was? I thought it was schedule, no? New event schedule. Scheduled item, PS schedule item. Wait a second. PS item spawn event as a schedule, right? A schedule is a schedule item. Okay. No. Sorry, I messed up. Is delay ticks. But delay ticks. Wait a second, because I think it's interval here. Okay, we'll sort this out later, but I think we have to use this variable called intervals and set it into our delay ticks. I think that is what we have to do. This will trigger after 1 second, which to me is fine. But yeah, so okay, so it's delay ticks. The only problem is that I don't think that event knows delay ticks. Yes, it does. Nice. Okay. Well, if it knows delay ticks, I think we are good. So I think we can just do this. We can remove all of this code, which was the original, sorting of all the events by time and whatever. So we just rely on Unreal Engine to do it. When this time is completed, when this time passed, then we will call process queue event with our event, okay? Which is going here. So after 1 second, this one will trigger, and we'll print this. And what we will do? I mean, here the only thing he has to do is to check the trigger and trigger. That's the only thing we want to do. Time taken. Okay, this one we can keep. I mean, it's a kind of a check that if our event took more than 1 second to execute, then the event, it tells you that the event has taken a lot of time to execute, which we are not expecting it to be, so it's fine. Now what it does here, last ID, event is being processed more than once at a time. I think this will never happen, so I think that all of this we can just remove. Went through the loop. I think this loop can also all remove. I mean, all this code is something that we expect Unreal to take care for us. So I think it's all stuff that we can remove. This delete, I have no idea. I think you should not delete your objects, right? I think what I understood is that should I delete my view objects? I think the answer is absolutely not. Right? Because again, it's garbage collected. I'm wondering what is the best way to destroy U object. Create new object is as far as I know, blah blah blah. U object are managed by the garbage collector. To create a U object, properly use new object. New name and new status. Probably configured. You should not call new or delete on new objects, right? So yeah, this is what I was remembering. So we should never call delete on a U object. Now, is our in event a U object? I don't remember. Maybe not. Well, yes. UPS game event it is. UPS game event is, so we should not destroy it, even if inside our UPS game event, that's the trick, we have another event, we have another object connected, which is this one. Our PS scheduled item, this one should be destroyed, because this one we created with new. So when the event completed, actually we want to destroy not the event but the schedule item. We need the schedule item destroyed, by the way, in this code. We should not delete an in event, but we should delete in event schedule, I think. IntelliSense, hello, please. Anyway, is schedule. Anyway, we will test it as soon as IntelliSense comes back from the Death Realm, which will be soon. We can then type schedule there and then test it, okay? Come on, boy. What? Why is that? Oh, I did it. You are alive. It's not schedule. It's not schedule. Why is not schedule? It's not schedule, huh? It's not schedule. Why is not schedule? New event, push new event, PS. Because it is generic. Okay. Yeah, because the superclass doesn't know. This is annoying. Okay, for now we don't delete anything, but I think it will generate some bad memory. So we have to. You fix me. Should we delete the event pointed in schedule? Or yeah. So because I have the feeling that this one is going to be needed. But apart from that, I think we are fine. So this code should be doing what we need to do. So let's try to run it and see what it does. In theory, if this works, we should see an item popping up in the world. I don't think we are there yet because I think there is still some other code I have to figure out for having the item pop up. But the only thing I want at the moment is that it's not crashing and is executing that piece of code, is properly calling the trigger of my scheduled item, which I don't know exactly what it will do, but let's see if there is any. So if this guy gets properly executed, if this guy gets properly executed, we should have a trigger. I don't see the trigger. Do you see the trigger? Bit position, get flag, get log, get strength, make interval, get position, get sector, blah blah blah. No, I think the trigger is probably. But let me go to the implementation of this. Wait a second. Go to definition. Pick definition. Schedule item. Come on, it should be a schedule item trigger. I think it's this one. No. Is schedule item create item, schedule item. Spawns the item. Okay, but create item should be called by trigger, no? Maybe I didn't see it. PS get sector, get position, make interval, get interval, max modifier, lock strength, lock skill, get flag, position, update, blah blah blah. I wanted that. No, it's not here. I have no idea how this works. Okay, let's run it for now. I don't care. Let's assume that it works. I don't know what it's doing. We will see. We will see what it's doing, okay? I don't want to read all the code and then realize that I didn't need to read it. So let's just launch it. And we are in debug mode, so we can actually follow it line by line, but I think we just let it run once and see what happens. And I hope something good happens. Okay, it's running. We want to see if it's creating the objects, at least from the code point of view. Then in the 3D world we will see it later, but I want it not to crash and at least to execute that code. Okay, we are here, we are spawning. I think we can just let it run, let it run, let it run, let it run. Who cares? Who cares? Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Okay. After 1 second, so I think it already happened probably. So adding ant location, UPS game event construct, okay. Event manager push, okay. But unfortunately we get event 0 scheduled at 0, which is not really promising. I mean, so let me check what it's doing. UPS game event construct, I think is fine. Event manager push is the one that we just added, right? The printout that we added here. So the push, okay, so here it works. Up to here it works. Then up to here it works. Then it should say this event scheduled at blah blah blah. Unfortunately, this one just says 00. That is not very good. It's saying 00. Event ID, event trigger text, delay text or trigger text. These I'm not 100% sure. Okay, maybe that's the mistake. But basically, it's never calling our process event queue. It's never calling this because process event queue is not in our log. It's not in our log, and let me see if it's happening now. No, it's not happening. Okay, so okay, it didn't crash at least. So it executed this piece, and it set the timer that never fired. Though this timer never fired for some reason. A bit annoyed by that. Let me try something. Let me just do forcing the value here for a second, okay? So because maybe this event delay text is not the right one or whatever. Let's do yet 0.5. Yes, 5 though. I mean, if this is seconds, we said that he has to execute it in 1000 seconds, which is a lot, right? If it's not milliseconds. Can we know if this set timer is taking seconds or milliseconds? Because that would be an interesting thing to know, you know. I want to know. Unreal Engine set timer seconds, milliseconds. What is it? Are timer intervals in seconds or milliseconds? It's specified in seconds. Okay, so I think we schedule an event in 1000 seconds, which is quite a bit. It's like 15 minutes. I don't know how much is 1000 seconds. It's a lot, boys. It's a lot. 1000 divided by 60 is 15 minutes, yes. We schedule an event in 15 minutes. Okay. Okay, so let's change it to seconds. Let's change it to seconds and see what happens. So if I say that this one is not 1000, what is it? It's not 1000, but it's, let's say 10 seconds. Let's say 10 seconds. And on the other side, we get that. And we delete our DLLs because we want to. Maybe it's just that. Maybe it didn't trigger because it was 15 minutes. You know? 15 minutes is kind of a long time. Go, go, go. In seconds. But I think we can also do fractions, right? Because we may want certain events to be scheduled like in 250 milliseconds. So I will need a 0.25 or something like that. Okay, it's loading all the quests, it's loading all the stuff. In 10 seconds, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Did he do anything? Didn't do shit. Okay, arrived now. It sounded looking more than 10 seconds to me, but he's doing it. It's called the process event queue, and now I don't know what it's doing. It's probably crashing, but it did it. He actually did it. So he executed the time event in 10 seconds. I think it was more 12 than 10, but no, okay. So he executed it. He executed it properly, and he print. Why print this? Process event queue not implemented. Oh, why is this process event queue not implemented? Wow. What? It has to be a U function. I mean, at the moment, this one is not a U function, so maybe it has to be a U function. But yeah, I think so. I think it has to be a U function. That's just the answer. But let's search it just for fun. Not implemented. Has anybody actually managed to get timeline working? Ubind function, delegate, auto setup, blah blah blah. Okay. Not implemented. No, it was not. So let me see the timer of this guy. What is the time? What is the set timer in this page? There is no set timer in this page. So why am? It should be a ubind function though. Ubind function. There it is. Ubind function. There's animation effect. So animation effect is obviously a U function. Okay, I think we have just to declare it as a U function. It's okay. I mean, it doesn't cost us anything, so we can just go to process event. Also, because he's taking a U object as a parameter, so we should be safe in. Which is already a U function. There is a problem. This is a problem. There is a problem. Process event queue. There is a problem. Bind U function. Animation effect. So fname. We did fname something. Maybe fname is not needed. Maybe fname is not needed. I don't know. I had fname because I seen it in an example. Maybe we don't need fname. We need this guy to call our function to start with, and then after that happens, we can move on. But for now, we need that to happen, boys. We need that to happen. Come on, you can do it. I know you can. Maybe it was just the fname, the thing. I may post an example after I manage to have this fixed, because I think it would be useful to other people. Even if I have to say, the only problem was that my event manager was getting destroyed, and maybe not many people will have that problem. Okay, go, 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 go. Just go, just go. Okay, in 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Aha! He called it! Ah, it's me printing out process queue not implemented. It's me printing this out. Not implemented, the toString of in event. Okay, fine. But, okay. It's me printing this out. Okay. But it seems is not executing it. It's not executing it. So let me just debug that and see what happens, okay? Because I think it should actually run it properly. Should be okay. It should call trigger. If it doesn't call trigger, probably because it's failing here. It's failing inside check trigger. It's failing inside check trigger, I think. Anyway, we did already most of the job the last time. Then we gave up because it was a bit annoying because we spent like 2 hours on it and we were not getting anywhere, and so I just stopped. But the last time we did most of the work. Okay, waiting 10 seconds. Okay, let's see what it does. Apart from printing out that, so let's check if our event is actually a valid event. Okay. Base object. It seems okay. It has some values and stuff. So, okay, it takes the time. Who cares? I want to check this check trigger. I want to see what this does. Check trigger returns valid, and valid is actually true. Okay, fine. So actually it goes into trigger. So it's executing this inside trigger. No. Okay. Why trigger did trigger on an empty function? Was it doing it in PS game event? It's doing a new PS game event, so it didn't take the subclass. Why? Why is not executing it in my... Okay, let me just review the logic a bit, because I think that we did some work, but not all the work needed. So here we have our event, which is the one that we queue, which is a UPS game event, which actually has a scheduled item inside of it, which is for us, it is this one, PS scheduled item. Now, how was the old code working? No, but it should be anyway a PS item spawn event. Sorry, I'm a bit confused. A bit confused of what the old code was doing, because this one should trigger. Why? It is empty? No, it's not empty. It's doing schedule, want to die, schedule create item, etc, etc. So this seems to be doing what we need. This is not very good. This is not very good. It seems that, but maybe I'm wrong. When I call push, this object is actually not identified as a PS spawn item event. It is very bad. It is very bad. I don't know why it happens, but basically here when we do trigger, let me try to do something. Let me try to do PS item event equal to cast PS item event of my in event, and see what this thing is. Should I do it like this? And see what this thing is getting. And if this returns okay, because we could also do it like this, but I mean, I was expecting not to have to do this, right? Because we are using the I mean, we are subclassing our UPS game event to that, and so what? Or not? So, PS item spawn event, is this derived from UPS game event? Yes. Right? So this is derived from UPS game event. So it has to work in theory, but why it doesn't? Very surprised by that. Very surprised by that, because I was expecting this thing to work directly. So it's just taking the unless I declare the trigger not virtual. No, but unless it's possible that I messed up something just to have it compile. Let me see. No, it's virtual trigger, virtual check trigger, and it's implemented though. Wait a second. Let me check on the old code. Let me check on the old code game event if it was implemented or not, because I'm having a bad feeling that I did something. No, in fact, I did not implement. Here it was not implemented. It was not implemented. Why I did it? Because it was not working otherwise. So if it was like this, it was not compiling, huh? It's not compiling. Because I need this function to be virtual, to be called on the subclasses. If it compiles like this, then we are fine. But if I changed it, yeah. Object of abstract class UPS time event is not allowed. Fuck it. Why not? Why I cannot do it? Is a restriction of Unreal or is something wrong I'm doing in C++? Real Engine, let me say, cannot instantiate abstract class. Cannot instantiate abstract class. There's only one guy in the whole world. Hi, use structs cannot be abstract, as they need to be instantiated and initialized as part of the serialization process. The code is generated by UHT, which is why you're seeing the issue until you have not instantiated struct yourself. Yes, but what the fuck does this mean? So it means I cannot have a U object with an abstract. I don't understand. Yeah, it could be overridden to allow, okay, but the problem is that if I implement it, it seems to me that it's not giving a shit about the fact that we have a subclass, right? I see someone joining. Hello. Welcome. We are a bit deep into the C++ code because we have a difference between the old and the new code. The old code was using pure virtual functions, meaning that this one is not even implemented in the father class and is just implemented in the subclasses, but seems that a U object has to be serialized, and so for that reason you cannot have a function that is not declared. It's just pure abstract. But apart from that, I have the problem anyway that if I compile it like this, right? Let me just check something, because now I have both. I mean, now I have the cast, and the cast is should be executing it on the, but it should be done automatically, Okay. While it's compiling, because it's compiling, let me just check something. C++ virtual function equal to 0. Virtual function example, right? I mean, it should be very simple. You declare it as virtual, and then you override it in the lower class. So that's what it is, right? I don't know if I'm missing something, but virtual members. Yeah, exactly. So I have my polygon that is a virtual. Well, he's still implementing it, right? He's implementing it. He's just declaring it as virtual. Then he has area declared here, area declared here, and then you can call area, and he's calculating it. So I mean, this is the basic of C++. So why doesn't call it? Why doesn't call it? Why doesn't call trigger inside my PS item subclass of the U object? I don't understand. Let's see what it does now, because I also had a cast, and then I had the, but I mean, having to cast it seems to be pretty stupid. It's exactly the opposite of what you are expecting, right? Again, 10 seconds we should have the call. I can make it 2 seconds so we don't wait all the time, but okay. So you see, when I come here, I have my event, which is actually a UPS game event. Okay, fine, but in reality, is another event, is a subclass of it. If I go inside this trigger, it's actually executing the virtual inside my father class, which makes no sense. Let me see if this cast works. What the hell? I missed something here. So I cast it. Is this thing valid or not? Please tell me. Is this item event, but why is undefined? Come on. My in event is okay. Is undefined, but it's calling trigger though. But it's calling trigger again inside my father class. Where are we? We are again inside my UPS game event, so it's not going down one level for some reason. Why is not going down one level, boys? Why is not going to the... How do I know if this event is actually... Sorry, where are we now? No, it's not executing it. How do I see if this event is actually... let me see if I can read some of the variables here. Name, engine, static, class, whatever. Type. Delay text 10, trigger text ID 0, value true. UPS game event. Doesn't seem to really work okay though, because I'm starting to wonder if the creation is okay. When I do this new object, passing in a subclass which is not a U object, I don't know if this is messing him up. Could be, it is just creating the father class. That could be. That could be. Real engine new object of subclass. So uTalent uObject. Yeah, but it's doing uObject uTalent. In my case, I'm doing uObject of something else, which is not a uObject, it's a subclass of a uObject. I think it's getting fucked up so much. Create component of subclass. No. uObject subclass with no default constructor. You know what? I have the feeling I have to transform also the subclasses into uObjects. Which is so annoying though. I can do it, but it's a bit annoying. Because here is a subclass of a uObject, you know, but the subclass is not a uObject itself. I mean, we could try to change just this one, just the PS spawn event to be also a uObject and see what happens. I was preferring to not to do this, but it seems that it's messing up somehow. Because if I have to do that, I have then to do, let's say, this one, potentially also this one. So let me check how hard it is to do this. So PS item spawn event. So I have a constructor which takes my item. I actually made this public so I can call it from the outside. See you, Zwei. See ya. Well, we can make this one a uObject as well. I mean, it's not a big work. I mean, it's a very quick work, I would say. Just want to be sure I'm not messing up, but we can do this. It's not a problem. I just have to make it a U class, and it's not a big issue. What was the name? PS item. PS item spawn event, where it is inside spawn manager. Okay. Is inside spawn manager. Is inside spawn manager under server. So spawn manager.h. I'm searching this guy. So if this one we make a U class, we should call it like this. So the name is changing. We need U class at the beginning. We need to have our generated body, and we need, I think, to remove this constructor. We need to have just an empty constructor, which is fine to me. which is fine to me. I can have just an empty constructor, I don't care. But then I have my trigger, right? Which is the one that I need. So it is a U something. Then inside my spawn manager CPP, this becomes, whenever I have this, it becomes this. In current document replace all. Yes. Okay, let's try to compile it like this and see what happens. We basically changed it to be a UPS, I mean a U object. The problem is that we have many of those events. We have in the code, we have like, I don't know, 10, 15, I mean, type of events, maybe more. And I wanted to have only the father class to be a U object, but I'm not sure I can do this. Why doesn't like it? Because my spawn manager is not a U object. Ay, 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 boys. Ay, 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 boys. Let's see, but if we have to make also this one a U object, it starts to be annoying. Starts to be annoying. Start to be annoying. So this one becomes spawn manager dot generated dot h, because we have that one U class inside of it. I mean, I can change the code. If this doesn't work, I can just change the code to have. No, I mean, instead of sub, I was thinking to have, instead of subclasses, just having pointers, but now doesn't work because I need a subclass to be able to call the trigger in a polyform. I mean, with polymorphism. There it is. So I don't want to transform. What is it doing here? UPS hide item event schedule item. Well, this one actually I have removed, right? The problem is that there is more code around this, right? It's not just as simple as I'm thinking, because there is more code around this. There is more code. There is more code. There is code in the destructure. There is code. Yeah. There is code in the destructor. There is code here. It's not as simple as that. It's not as simple as that. Because now it's complaining about the destructor, which I don't know exactly why it's virtual here. If we have a subclass of this, why is saying that it mismatches? Because probably it's generating the destructor inside the generated body, yeah? I think probably yes. Probably yes. Yeah, I think we need to change a bit this part of the code, unfortunately. You can try to keep it exactly as it is, but it's not that. I mean, it's not simple. Try to keep it exactly as it is, but come on, it just has to do this again. UPS game event. Actually, UPS game event, I left it here at the end. Huh? I left here the constructor with multiple parameter. I just added an empty one. Okay. So I could do the same. I could do the same also here. It's not that I need to delete the constructor. Illegal reference to trigger text, which is not static. It really doesn't like me. It really doesn't like this. I don't know why. Okay, well. The first why is that I didn't rename the class here. That's the first why. I don't even know if I need this though. Just a second, because I'm doing something which is not probably correct, right? So I don't need the single, because I remember that Unreal was in need of a constructor with empty parameters. Let's see what it does. So it says you have to define. Yeah, exactly. It needs to have at least an empty constructor. If you don't have an empty constructor, it doesn't work. It doesn't work because Real Engine is in need of an empty constructor, which is okay for me. It's setting it as valid as a default. I mean, we could simply, I mean, in our constructor here, we could do something stupid as this, right? So we don't need to have much here. You can just say that we are constructing the object and setting the validity to true. The validity is actually on the father class, but it's fine. We can change all events to be U objects anyway. If this is the solution, I'm fine with that. If this is working, I'm fine with the conversion. I can convert all the events to be U objects. As long as it works okay and Unreal is not complaining, I'm fine. Okay, let's see if it works now. Okay, it's starting up. Let's see. So we just run everything without an issue, then we wait our 10 seconds. The event is triggered, and we want to check if now the subclass is working. So when I arrive here, okay, check trigger seems to be fine. When I go inside of this, yes, now it's working. Yeah, so I think we need yeah. Okay, now it's crashing for something else, but it's fine. Yeah, we need the events to be all U objects. I think it's fine with me. I mean, it's not a big change. Is something that we can do relatively quick, and we can start with this ID because now he actually worked properly, right? And he worked on the first call, right? I hope so. Yeah, it was in this inside of this, so we don't need to do this anymore, obviously. So now it works okay. So it seems that when you have a subclass that is a U object, and you have so in our case, just to explain you, let me keep this one because maybe I will reuse it. So U objects are, let's say, the base of the Unreal system, right? So you have a U object, which is an object managed by Unreal. So in our case, we did a subclass of this thing, and we called it what? We called it UPS game event. Yes, we called it UPS game event, right? And this one was a U object because you see the U at the beginning, and anyway, it was implemented like this. Now, what I tried to do, I tried to say, okay, all the subclasses of this guy, I don't want them to be U objects. I just want to be like this PS item schedule. What is the name? PS item schedule something, right? This one, right? So I said I want this one to be PS item spawn event. I want this to be a non-Unreal class, right? A non-Unreal class. The problem is that if you do like this, when you try to instantiate this class, so if you do a new object here, right? If you do new object something here of your new class of this one, for some reason Unreal is creating only this one, right? It's not creating your class. It's not doing this. It's not doing this. It's doing this. It's doing this, and it is not what we want. So what we did, we just changed it to be a U object, right? So this became a UPS something, and now it's properly doing this, properly creating the subclass. So it's properly doing this, right? It is okay. I mean, was more handy, was more handy to do it at this level. Was definitely more handy because I could just avoid. I mean, to this level, I mean, to do the new year, but not to have this one as a U object. But it seems it's not working, so it's fine. This means that we will have to change some of these classes because we have many events. So everything that derives from UPS game event, we should make it a U object. I mean, it's not a big deal at the end. It's not a big deal. You can do that. Who cares? Just thinking of why it's not working the other way, but who cares? Who cares? Let me just search something in the old code because I want to see. to say, schedule is not in a real object, so when I destruct this, I should delete schedule. Absolutely, I should delete schedule. Okay, but at the moment I think it's working up to the point that it's trying to actually pop up the item in the world, which is fine. So it's calling create item and then it's crashing inside create item, which is fine with me, because it's still doing something stupid like checking the sector, right? The sector doesn't exist these days. So even if at the end we said that we wanted to have everything in sector number 3, right? Did we say this? I think we said this. We said that everything should go for now in sector 3. But at the moment is returning null because the sector has not been set on this item yet. Create item, yes, change, who cares. Schedule, because I think I deleted in my spawn manager when we create this item. I don't remember where is it now, but I know whatever. Let me search this because it's not that simple. Let me search exactly here. I think I removed the part where I was setting the sector. Yes. Can I force it to be always sector 3 so that we comply to what we said? I don't know. Get sector info by name. I think we can do this. Why was doing it twice? So it was setting the spawn sector and the I sector, and then what? And then why was it setting the sector to my object? Probably yes, because it was passing it here. Yes, it was passing in a PS sector info. PS sector info. PS sector info. Okay, 1 second. I'm trying to see if in the old code this was the spawn sector. So if we could keep it like this, and we do it like this. What is sector 3? Sector 3 is for us, sector 3 is, if I go under sectors, is NPC room. I think for now we do like this. I mean, it's not great, huh? But it's better than having no sector. Hard-coded sector to NPC room equal 3. So it's not really great, but I think it's okay. And entity manager, because here is low, is then trying to check if that sector exists. Yeah, it's a bit of a chicken and egg in this case, but also find nearby entities in theory is using sector, but we changed this completely, so yeah. He's not using it anymore, so we will have to change some of that anyway soon. Sooner or later, we will have to change that. Because this one was taking a nice sector, that's why. Okay. I think we can do like this. Let's see if like this it works in the sense that at least he gets a sector and it doesn't crash on that line and should just give the message that we are spawning it. The end result we want to achieve here is that at the start we get an item automatically spawned by the server in a specific location, which is next to the fountain somewhere. Okay, so is in the area where we spawn. There is an automatic location for spawning new items, and and we expect to get an item there. And also we expect that when we pick it up, that item is respawned again, which I'm not sure if is happening now in the code, but it should happen. Okay, we waited 10 seconds for the trigger to trigger. Come on. It's not triggering anymore, or what? Why is not triggering anymore? Uh-oh. Why is not triggering anymore? What did I do? Because I added that sector thingy, then he bails out. Because it doesn't find it, huh? It doesn't find it. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. It doesn't find it, and so he's complaining. Okay, so probably this get sector info by name is not freaking working. Is returning null. It's probably returning null. Pain. I mean, we can we can I wanted to put it in sector 3 just to be sure that it was, but it's not working. Let me just check why, but I think I know why. I think I know why. So we still have this sector into the code, which is a legacy stuff, and we should probably remove it. But I'm a bit cautious about removing it, because maybe in the future we will reuse it again. So get info sector by name. Let me see what this thing is doing. So sector info by name is completely empty. has never been loaded up because our cache manager never loaded the sectors. Never ever loaded the sectors. You see? You never loaded the sectors. Ah. Okay, so we cannot even hard code to 3, otherwise you have to do many changes. Too many changes. So for now, we can say sectors removed. Fuck it. It's a problem, but okay. And then it means that when he was trying to create, okay, here I put back the null. Okay, you convince me. And then when we create the item, so inside the create item, which is, I guess, here inside entity manager, I don't remember, but whatever it is, yes, this get sector to string. At this point, we just remove it and we just say null sector, okay, and that's it. You just do it like this, and that's it, and that's it. And well, actually, I can just do it even simpler. I mean, I can just do it like this. Now let me see if he's using the sector in other places, right? So he's getting basic item stats, fine. Is checking this, fine. Is instantiating the basic item, then is creating the item. Yes. Is setting a location in the world. This line, I'm not 100% sure it will be a good idea, but it seems okay. Set the flags. I don't know. We have to debug this and see if it works. Not probably, yes. Delete item. Why is deleting the item? It's deleting this, no? Is deleting our item instance at the end of this function. I'm trying to understand if that's fine or if this will mess up, you know. I think it will mess up. I have the feeling it will mess up when it's deleting. New PS schedule item this traffic spawning rules so it's passed forward. New PS scheduled item of this. Delete item, get scheduled item, items to schedule item, new schedule item. This thing is doing a lot of stuff. Okay. I don't know exactly what it is doing, but I think it's trying to reschedule itself. So if you pick it up, again, like I was saying before, if you pick it up, I think it's able to reschedule another event that regenerates another one. Now the point is, who is using this? Because if I go to PS item and I search schedule, okay. Come just want to search this. Schedule respawn, you see? Okay, let's see if it works one time, and then if it works one time, we will try to then see if it works multiple times. For now, we just want to have our item pop up into the world. That's what we want, without crashes. Right? Couldn't spawn item 59, so at least he tried. At least he tried, but he said couldn't. He said couldn't spawn. I don't know why, but he said couldn't spawn. He said couldn't spawn item. Is that error given inside of this? Probably. No. What is this thing? Couldn't spawn item. What is this? Who's saying this? If schedule create item equal to null, then it prints this. Okay. It should not be equal to null. Maybe it's failing here. Okay, we have to follow this code. I mean, we cannot assume it works. Okay. Okay. I was trying to get ahead of the thing, hoping that it could work at the first run, but obviously it's not. So let's just debug what the hell is doing. Okay. Because it's not. I mean, at the moment it's not working. So we have to check exactly what is going on. He's executing the code, right? But it's the first time you execute this part of the code, so probably there are other bugs, other errors, other things that we have to fix before it actually works. At least the timer works, which is what we wanted from the beginning, right? Which was one of the objectives of today, to have the timer working. That is working now, so that's pretty good. But here there is still something that is not doing what we want. So let's follow it line by line and see what it does. Okay, this is our process event queue. Perfect. I go in, I go in, I go in. It is creating our item, so we want to go in. We check this, we check this, we check cache manager. It's finding the stats, instantiating new stats. So these are our stats, which I assume they are correct. I don't know. Item quality 50. I don't know. And item ID. I don't know. There will be other stuff, right? I hope so. Base stat 59. Yes, it seems that is doing something. So if item, create the item, random position within range. Okay. Set the location in world, set the location strength, set the flags. Okay, it goes inside of this, and this is probably where it's failing. Even if this one is the one we are using also for if trend. Oh. What the hell? Is a container. Did I pick up a container? I think I pick up a container. I think I'm trying to spawn a container. I think I am. Which we didn't implement yet. So item instance get is container. Current stats get is container. Where is this thing? Container max size, container max slot. Do I have a flag for is container or what? Sans command with more range. No, I did. Yeah, I think it is. Okay. I think we are spawning a stupid item, okay, which we didn't implement yet, which is a container. I think I'm spawning a chest or something else. So let's change this. So let me just spawn. So this thing should be under hunt locations or natural resources. I don't know. I think it's hunt locations. Hunt locations. Let me check in database what we have. Yes, here it is. So we are spawning item 59. Item 59. What hell is item 59? Item 59 is a chest. Yes, it's a container. Yeah, container. Is a container. I don't know why we are spawning a container really. With all the things that we can spawn, just a container. We can spawn a juice berry fruit. What do you want to spawn? Oh, you want to spawn a glyph. A glyph would be pretty cool. Let's spawn this thing. So 3014, right? I think it's just a normal item. It's just a normal item. So we change this. We say 3014. Here the interval unfortunately is in milliseconds, which I think is a very bad idea. Let's do 30 seconds. Let's do 30, okay? And let's apply. So now we are spawning an item that it should actually be able to spawn, because before we were spawning something it couldn't spawn. And let's launch it again and see what it does. But we are making progress. Okay. Let's follow it. Okay. Now it did it, I think. I think it created the item. 3014 in instance 0 sector null. Okay, item created. It's fine. I think it created the item. So let's go in game and see if we created the item. I think it did. I think it did. So the item should be somewhere here. Just search for it. I think I put it. I have no idea where I placed it. But we know the coordinates, so we can. Maybe it's one of these ones? No, because this one's. In theory, it should be a small sack. It should be a small sack because it doesn't have an icon, it doesn't have a mesh. Let me check my position. So we spawn the item we spawn the item in 204600. It's very close to here. -3, 8 something, 10, 169. Yeah, we are very, very close. I mean, it should be nearly here. Oh! No, this one is not. I don't see it, but in theory it should be here. Uh, 104600. It should be like here. 104600 minus 317. There is 316. It's right here. I don't see it. But it should be like here. Unless it's on the floor, on the sky, or behind the floor, I mean below the floor, but I don't think we spawn things below the floor actually. Yeah, the location is here, but the item is not here, so I mean it didn't work. It worked, but it didn't work. Okay, let's do something. Let's use an item that we know it works, okay? Because I think that this idea of 3014 is a good idea, but also not. Let's use our small battle axe, and that's it. Small battle axe is number 2. We know we have all the characteristics. We have our object, material, icon, right? So we have everything. I know it will look like an axe, so maybe we can confuse it with the other items, but I think is better. So let's say item number 2. Now let me see if we created it in the database though, because under item instances, the one that are on the ground, so where character owner equal to 0 or equal to null, yeah, equal to 0, we should have a new item created of type 34. There it is, 3014. Actually, it's been created in database. I mean, this thing's a bit weird. Ouch. There's something not working well in the creation of the item though. Because one parameter is a bit fucked up. The flags are fucked up. The sector is null. I don't know if this is making it a problem. But also the location is no, the location is wrong. Look at that. The location doesn't exist. Why the location is all empty? Our item 59 was actually created. Our chest was actually created. Okay, let me do this. Let me delete this and delete this and apply. And now we placed item number 2, which is the safest item that we have, right? Because it's the item that we spawned already multiple times. Just try the location is so fucked up. The location seems not to be saved properly. Range. I would like to see what is the final I mean, what are the coordinates is setting this object at? Okay, now we created the item. Let's check in the database what happened. So under item instances, we actually have a new item. Yeah, but he has no location. He has no location. The location is not set. Why the location is not set? Still have something not working, huh? We still have something not working. So let me check. Let's debug the location because the location is not set properly. It's all nulls. It's all null values. For some reason. Okay. Starting up. Now triggering the event. Maybe we can put a breakpoint a bit deeper in the code so we don't have to, let's say, walk through all of that all the time. Maybe it's a better idea, but here inside create item. So first thing I want to understand is these stats, because it seems that, for example, one of the items, which is the flags, is not properly. Flags is 65. What the hell is 65? Flag 65? No. That seems weird already. But then item instantiate basic item. What is doing here is okay. It's taking the stats and so let me check the flags again. Flags is 0 now. Base stats. Flags is 65. What is this 65? I think there is an error in the flags, but so creates the item. How much is range? Is 3 meters. Okay, it's fine. Creating this very close to the position where we are. Now it's setting the location in the world. So this one may be maybe not correct. So it's taking our item and let me just okay. Why it didn't go in? Lock X, lock Y, lock Z. So he's taking this variable. So this one. What is get position Y? Why is using get position Y instead of what is get position Y, by the way? Get position of my item. Return position. It's keeping the same vertical and is changing. Yeah, the only problem is that now in Unreal the Y is no more the vertical, the Z is the vertical. Okay, so this one has to be changed. The Z is the vertical, right, boys? I think so, right? What is the Z? The Z is going up, right? Come on, just tell me if the Z is up. I think the Z is up. Z is the vertical one, right? Z up. Z is up versus Y is up. So interesting one in the Facebook group today. The Z up natural. Yes, the Z up. Okay. Okay. So if Z is up, this code is a bit wrong. I mean, it's not massively wrong, but we can just do this. So we randomize X and Y while we keep the Z the same. So we should have, because otherwise we may go underground, you know. It's not a great idea. So the Z stays as it is. The Y and the X are changing. Even if I think this is not our problem, but then after this, I think it's setting the position again. That is what bothers me. Yeah, I know the code changed. Don't worry about it, please. So probably we are setting it again. New position. You see this set word location. No, this is sorry. Get location in world. So it's getting this. Seems to be okay. Is our X, Y, and Z. So that's valid. That's actually valid. Get rotation in world. Okay. Get mesh name as a container. No. Spawn information. So is using the new position. Yes. The Z is a bit weird though. It's 4,862. That's probably the problem we have. But it is saving then the item to the database, because I want to see what the hell is saving. It's not here though. Return null? No, it's not returning null for sure. There it is. Item save. Item save false first save. Check loaded. It's trying to save the item to the database. So if not loaded, blah blah blah, doing a lot of shit. New insert prepare statement. Are we using the prepare statement here? Because I remember we decided not to do it. I think we are doing it here. So let me see where it's setting the location. The location is really getting the wrong way. Oh my god, this thing is going forever. The creation of an item in Planeshift, it is insane because we have a million parameters. Flags. It is where we fuck up the flags. What is this flag string? Flag string? I think it's an F string. So this one, F to field. No. I think all of this has to be redone like we did the update. I think we have redone this for the why we have all this thing here actually. PS item commit. Because it's specific for the item. Okay. Yeah, but I already see a number of errors here. There are a number of errors. This piece of code we never touched and is not correct. Is not correct. Parent item, location. So here, anyway, here is where we do the location. Let me just check what happens with this location. But I think get location in world. location X, location Y, location Z. You know what? All of this is to be changed because it's strange that it doesn't fail though. We had the same problem the other day when we were doing the update, and we had a prepare statement in MySQL. It was not working okay, and I just removed it. I should go back and check the stream where I did it, but yeah, this target query execute is exactly the one that I wanted to see, but I think I cannot see the actual. I cannot see the actual execution of the query, right? There should be a MySQL log. That's not it. But anyway, after this, our item is properly created in the database. The problem is that I think the prepare statement is not working as expected because we have seen already these fucking up things, and in fact we get a lot of fields which are actually empty, and we also get some other fields which are not properly populated, so we should not use it. Now, what should I do? I should convert this function to, in the same way we change the update. I don't remember exactly, but I think if I go under SQL wrapper and I do SVN log, and I check the changes I did here. Field, no, it's not this one. It's not this one. Fix many add variable converted, deleted the character code and non-activated character, fixed character initialization which was missing. Let me see. I did very few changes here. Add field. I remember I did a change, but now I don't remember if it was in that piece or in another part. I remember. I remember it was the update statement, or I remember it was the update of the commit, but maybe it was the commit. Was a prepare statement? I'm sure it was a prepare statement. Here it is. Fixed character code not to use prepare statements. Okay, so I think it should be here. Yeah, this was the test, but then yeah, I think it's here. I see a lot of changes. There it is. There it is. So instead of doing all these add fields, which were not working well for me, I just decided to use the other way, so which is the standard way, right? Which is the not the add field, but just creating the query manually. I think I should do the same. I think I should do the same. Should not be too hard to do. Should not be too hard to do. I can mimic what I did here. Let me just check if in the current code we have the same. But I think it's exactly the same. There is the saving of a new item. Now, I'm just wondering why. I mean, is this really called only? Because I think we are calling this code in other cases. I mean, when we are dropping an item to the ground, I think we are calling this. I'm pretty sure we are. Before changing this, let me see if it's actually called somehow, because I don't want to mess up something that is already working. I think it should be though. But then how it works? Let me recompile, try to launch it, and just drop an item to the world with my character and see if we are passing through this function. Okay, because if we are passing through this function, means that it's already kind of working. Well, or maybe we didn't see that it was bugged. So let's just run it. Let's just run it, let it create the item, who cares about that? Then let's connect with the client, and let's drop an item and see if it goes through that code. I think it should, because I hope there is only one place, you know, where we are saving an item. So I'm dropping this. Okay, and the slot movement is fine. Move item to work. Yeah. We are going through this code already. So I'm wondering. We are going through this code already. So we are going through this. So this means that when we go through that part of the code, it's actually working. 1270. Ah, no, you see? The coordinates are fucked up anyway. No, the coordinates are fucked up anyway. So it's the same problem. It's exactly the same problem. Yeah, so we have to change that. No, we have to change that. Okay, it's fine. So it's the same piece of code that is called in two places, but it's fine. We have to change it because at the moment it's not recording the coordinates properly. So I think we should do a change very similar to what we already did for the prepare statement. For the prepare statement used in the update here. So we should use the same logic as much as we can. So I will copy paste the code from the old to the new. So just like this, string query. Then here we do, instead of doing the two prepare statements, instead of doing this, Here is a bit more complex because here there are two cases. One case is an insert, another case is an update. It is a bit more complex actually. Because the problem is that we will have two different I mean, in one case we have to say insert into blah 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 values blah 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 blah. In the other case we have to do update table set blah 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 blah, right? So it's not exactly the same, the syntax is not the same, and I think the prepared statement was helping us here, definitely helping us here, but there is little I can do. Actually, I want to change this, you know. Add field null. Did I add any add field null in the old query? No. This was a bit of a simpler one, huh? This case was much simpler. This case is much more complex. Okay, I think I will do it. I will do it off stream. I mean, I think there is no reason to do it now on stream. I mean, it's a pretty tedious work. Basically, what I need to do, I need to take this code and split it somehow into two in a kind of a smart way, so that it can be used for update and for insert. Yes, and it's a bit long because it's all this code which has to be changed, so it's not exactly, let's say, short work, but I don't know, like maybe in half an hour or something like that. In half an hour can be done and tested. So I can do it off stream like tomorrow morning probably. Yeah, I can do it tomorrow morning or early afternoon, and then when I stream again, I will have this done and working, so we can continue from items being properly saved and potentially spawned, and we will go on with the events. Okay, so I think it's the best because I think it is a bit of a tedious one and I can do it offline. Yes, it's up to here. It's actually from line here 919, so it's about 200 lines, well, even more. It's 250 lines. Oh, it's not much, but anyway, this is what is to be done. Okay, so I think I will do this off stream, and I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we stream again, and Sunday we stream again, and I will try to rush, let's say, to some results, because I want to see some results in this area, which is events and timers. So yeah, we will push this. We will push through this. Okay. I think that's all up to now. I think I'll leave you with, as usual, with some music, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow.